Against our will that a true opinion can be lost to us. It's only against our will that a true opinion can be lost to us. And we suffer such a loss as a result of fading away, bewitchment or force. Wait, you've lost me, Lacan piped up. What are all these distinctions you're making? Great gods in heaven, roared Socrates. Could it be that I'm starting to sound like the tragic poets? Let me be prosaic then. I'm saying, first of all, that a true opinion fades away in people who become convinced that it's false as a result of a specious argument, or, quite simply, in people who forget it. As a casualty of a fallacious argument or owing to the erosive effect of time, the opinion actually disappears all by itself. Second of all, I'm saying that a true opinion is destroyed by force when suffering, whether physical or emotional in nature, leads to an upheaval in one's beliefs. And third of all, I'm saying that a true opinion is dissolved by bewitchment when a spell of sensual pleasure or the dark torments of fear are at work. To judge from my own experience, Samantha agreed, spells and torments do in fact bewitch us. Why, Amantha, that's some support you're giving me. When it comes to the intensity of even the most trivial life experience, who dare compete with a girl? But let's draw the consequence of our temporary agreement. We'll seek out those participants in the political process who stick firmly to their basic principle, namely that what should be done is always what they think will bolster the process. The leaders could, moreover, set various kinds of tests of political subjectivation where this issue is concerned. In fact, why not right from childhood? Suppose, for instance, that we put young people in situations that are particularly conducive or forgetting of or succumbing to bewitchment. We'll then be able to see who remembers the principles of action and doesn't become corrupt, and who prefers opportunities for pleasure to the continuation of the process of the true. We can also challenge these young people with difficult tasks, pain, and competitive trials and make similar observations. Finally, we can expose them to being led astray to error or to illusion and see how they fare.
We can do even better, or rather worse, exclaimed Vulcan, all fired up with enthusiasm. I'm thinking of how young colts are thrown into a whirlwind of sound and fury to have their courage tested. Why not take our young people, girls and boys together, to some place where absolutely dreadful things are going on, and then suddenly expose them to the temptation of the most seductive, sensual pleasures? We'll then be able to see if they can undergo both terrors and temptations without losing their composure, since it's their destiny to guard the creative vitality of the political process. They should at least be good guardians of themselves and of the education and the arts that they've received since they were children. Their lives should be lived out with proper rhythm and true harmony, and there should thus be no difference between the service they render themselves and the service they render the political community. On the basis of tests like these, spread out from childhood to old age, the people most capable of creating the exciting conditions of a new system of government for everyone else will emerge by themselves and will be hailed as such by everyone. On hearing this, Amantha commented, "You're so enthusiastic, dear brother. It sounds like you're devising an ideal city for us, where good inevitably triumphs. Albeit at the cost of some very severe tests and arduous conflicts," remarked Socrates. There's a famous philosopher emperor, Marcus Aurelius, who'd read in the dialogue entitled Politeia your brother Plato's version of what we're discussing. He didn't think very much of my ideas, that Marcus Aurelius. He wrote in no uncertain terms, "Hope for nothing from Socrates' city." Now that's a truly imperial band, but as opposed to him, we'll hold on to that hope. We sure will. What we want is a new form of government, communism. And that is and will be much more than a mere wish.
That hope is wonderful, Arantha went on, but I'm afraid it may contain a hefty dose of lies. In any political conception, said Socrates, suddenly becoming very serious, isn't there something like a useful lie, a necessary lie, a true lie? It's reminded of a story that was told to me by a Phoenician sailor a long time ago. In many countries, he said, society is strictly divided into three social classes that hardly mix with one another. First, there are the financiers, the wealthy property owners, the senior judges, the military commanders, the chairman of the boards of directors, the politicians and the big moguls of mass media, the press, the radio, and television. Then there's the host of intermediate professions, white-collar workers, nurses, low-level managers, teachers, youth activity organizers, so-called intellectuals, sales reps, psychologists, literary hacks, qualified salespeople, small firm engineers, regional union activists, florists, independent insurance agents, elementary school teachers, small-town auto mechanics, and I could go on and on and on. Finally, there are the direct producers, farmers, workers, and especially those newly arrived proletarians who come in droves from the dark continent today. Our Phoenician mythology says that this is a natural and necessary division. It's as if a god had made our country's inhabitants from a mixture of earth and metal. On the one hand, since they're all made of the same earth, they're all from the same country. They're all Phoenicians, as necessarily patriots. But on the other hand, the metal content distinguishes them one from the other. Those who have gold in their bodies are meant to be rulers, and those who have silver to be in the middle class. And those that are at the bottom, the god roughly mixed up scrap iron into their makeup. Except that myth, according to some people, doesn't end there. One day, say these subversive creatures, a counter-god of sorts, will appear, though we don't yet know in what form. Will it be just one man, a woman of radiant beauty, a whole team, an idea, a single spark that can set the whole prairie on fire? It's impossible to know. But in any event, this counter-god will melt down all the Phoenicians, or maybe even humanity as a whole, and will remake them in such a way that all without exception will henceforth be made up of an undifferentiated mixture of earth, iron, gold, and silver. They'll consequently have to live indivisibly, since they'll all share identically in the equality of fate.
That sure is a beautiful lie, exclaimed Falcon. But isn't the foundation of our system of government the education that goes along with it, like the Phoenicians, counter gold, counter God? So let's let the myth make its way, as it will in the evolution of ordinary life. As for us, let's ask ourselves at once, what society would be like if we assume that there's no longer any gold or silver or scrap iron, or high or low, but only equals for whom there are no tasks that have to be reserved for this or the inferior group, but only what all must do for the good of all. And Martha wasn't so sure. But how will we go about monitoring the people who, for a time, will hold positions of responsibilities, she asked. It would be disgraceful for them to be like those bad shepherds who, to protect their flocks, train their dogs to be ferocious, and then the dogs, starving and vicious, ultimately turning the sheep, changing from guard dogs into the very thing they're supposed to protect us from, wolves. Glaucon then added, that's right, dear sister. We've got to do everything possible to keep those whose turn has come to hold military position from pulling things like that on us. Because with the force they have at their disposal, they could very easily trade their position as a supposedly benevolent protectors of all the country's citizens for the much more tempting one of cruel and greedy despots.
The best means, remarked Socrates, the ultimate precaution. The best means, the ultimate precaution, is to give everyone the proper education. The communist idea must command the gun. But won't they have received such an education in our scheme? Asked the surprised Glaucon. We still don't know anything for sure, my friend. All we can say is that in order for these temporary military leaders to demonstrate the most thoroughgoing selflessness and the most refined gentleness, both in the ranks of the army and vis-a-vis those whom said army protects, they'll have to have had the chance to receive a true education, whatever that may be. But don't we also have to control their wealth, insisted Glaucon, so that they don't own palaces, flocks, luxury cars, antique vases, gorgeous women, perfumes and jewelry. If they have all that stuff, they'll become so enamored of it and so anxious about losing it that power will make them as suspicious as they are arrogant. The problem's on a much vaster scale, and the political decision about it can only be absolutely radical. Private property has to be abolished. None of the members of our political community will own his own lodgings, let alone a workshop or a storehouse. Everything will be collectivized.
What about the women and children, inquired Matthew? Friends share everything in common. The food required for workers, be they men or women who are also militants of the community or even soldiers called upon to defend it, will be distributed in an egalitarian manner on a weekly basis. We'll make sure that when it comes to these people's wants, there's neither a deficit, which can exacerbate them, nor a surplus, which can sap their strength. We'll encourage meals to be taken communally, especially at midday. Overall, we'll facilitate all the projects of collective organization in that portion of time taken up by the bare necessities of survival. We'll deal in stages with the thorny problem of doing away with money. The main argument for imposing such a measure is that every subject has the ability, which is the same in him as in the other, to participate here on earth in the construction of a few eternal truths. We can therefore speak of a money of the absolute that makes countable money unnecessary. Money, in the usual sense, has been shown to be the cause of most of the crimes committed by individuals and by states, even though in every subject there dwells an eternal life. So, we'll organize material life in such a way that the circulation of capital will gradually be restricted, and there will be fewer and fewer occasions to handle money, be it in the direct form of gold, in the intermediate form of coins and bills, which will in the long run be removed from circulation, or in the intangible form of drafts, orders, and other such electronic aids whose use for speculation will be forbidden. These decisions are unavoidable for those who want to ensure the survival of our political community, since as soon as individuals or groups gain possession of land, apartment buildings, workshops, mines, or capital, they obey nothing but their own interest. They become greedy and selfish, and they go from being militants and defenders of the community to behaving like an oligarchy that purports to wield absolute power. Hating the community and hated by its members, persecutors whose own turn will come to be persecuted, spending their whole life fearing competitors from within rather than enemies from without, they doubtless lead their own group of nouveau riche to ruin. But more often than not, they drag the whole political community down with